All right, Warren Buffett is back with us and joining the conversation now, Berkshire board member and the richest man in the world, that too, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill, for joining us here. What was up with that newspaper toss? You whiffed it.
I had one throw that wasn't too good, it's true. The highlight reel excludes that toss.
but Bill, you were a newspaper carrier, right?
I was, just like you. But you've remembered how to fold them.
That's true.
Even better than I have. You get them really tight. That's very impressive.
Look, the technology world is your area and your realm. Technology came up, I thought, in an interesting way at the meeting this weekend, Warren, and that was through your insurance business and Geico specifically, where you talked about how Geico numbers were hurt last year because you saw a sudden flurry and an increase in the severity and frequency of accidents. Am I reading this correctly? Texting while driving, talking on the phone while driving is starting to really take hold and cause more accidents?
It has to be. You know, it's a little harder to get precise statistics on that. Drunken driving, we know, causes between 9,000 and 10,000 deaths, and there's texting. You know, you're not always going to get the accurate numbers on, but for the first time in a long time, the deaths per 100 million vehicle miles went up, and it's come down dramatically over the years, and it's got to be texting, yeah.
Well, that dovetails to driverless cars. You're at the forefront of technology. Have you been in a driverless car, Bill? Would you go in one? Have you been in one?
Oh, sure. The technology's gotten very good. You always have to work on edge cases, like where there's lots of snow or where you have a construction site that you're having to navigate around unusual things. But the technology won't be the limiting factor. You'll have to figure out the liability, and we'll have a few cities that'll jump in the next 5 to 10 years, and based on how that goes, it could catch on. But we're still talking about decades before you get to big numbers. Were
you ever considering going in a driverless car? Have you been in one?
Oh, I've been in a lot of cars that were driverless with the drivers that I go with. It'll be a while. They'll come. You know, there's no question in my mind about that, and they'll come when they're safer.
How would you insure a driverless car? Would you insure the code writer?
Well,
the software writer?
That's a real question in terms of what you hope, of course, is the car is far safer so that there are fewer accidents. But when there are accidents, whether you sue the software manufacturer, who exactly you sue it.
That doesn't sit well with Bill.
No, but that'll all get sorted out, and they'll only really become prevalent if they are a lot safer, and that day will come, and it'll turn the auto insurance industry in all likelihood upside down at some point, but I think that point is a long way off.
The last time, Bill, you and I spoke, and I believe it was in Davos, I asked you what your most interesting unicorn startup in your mind was, and you said you thought Airbnb was so impressive. Is there a runner-up in the next 4 months that I've seen you?
You know, I don't know them all to compare them. The software world continues to have a lot of exciting stuff. The big companies doing great work, the unicorns, the small companies. You know, we're just scratching the surface, whether you think about data visualization or virtual reality or artificial intelligence. Software is where the action is.
Uber was huge here this weekend, Warren. We used it a couple of times, came in 2 seconds, everybody was helpful. It really worked. What do you think of Uber?
I find that's always impresses me when somebody takes something like the car, which is, or the driver, which is and then figures out a way to make it way more productive and change human lives for the better. And I tip my hat to people that do that. Fred Smith did it at Federal Express. You know, Jeff Bezos has done it at Amazon. They've done it at Uber. I mean, you know, they didn't invent a new car or anything. They just thought about it a little different way. And I'm not a big user of anything, but when you get right down to it. But I mean, I have friend after friend after friend that whose lives they feel are better because of Uber.
If Uber went public, would you buy the stock?
No.
Why not?
Well, I think it would go public at a price that would be it'd be very hard for me to decide that the discounted value of all the future cash that was going to be produced was going to be attractive in terms of the price. It might well be, but I mean, we have, I would say in the last 40 years anyway, I don't think we've ever bought a public offering.